The theme for the readings today is identity. Who am I? Who are you? There's probably no greater obligation in life than to discover our true identity. Who we know ourselves to be, who others know ourselves to be. Both questions deal with what Thomas Merton calls our true selves and our false selves. He writes that our true self is who we are in God. In other words, we can never find out who we really are unless we see our connection to God. And we're intimately connected. We just don't realize it. We cannot be separated from God, because if we were ever separated, we wouldn't even be a puff of smoke. It's true that we will not fully experience this intimate connection in this life, okay? But we're called to fully accept it, because we know there's no such thing as forced love. It's always invitational, free. And so to spurn this God's ever-present invitation to this intimate kind of unconditional love, then to spurn it is to be in hell. Because hell is not somewhere that God sends us when we're bad. My God does not punish or send anyone to hell. But we choose to live in hell now when we can't tolerate this much unconditional love. Our ego just can't compute it, can't accept it. So in today's reading, we're offered a glimpse of who this God is of unconditional love when we see this love personified in the reading from Isaiah as the suffering servant. He writes, I gave my back to those who beat me. In the second reading from James, we see that Jesus, who totally identifies with us as we show compassion and love to any and all other people, especially those in pain. Our gospel has Jesus as the teacher of wisdom. It's rarely expressed that way, but I prefer that. Jesus as the wisdom teacher. Effective teachers know how to draw out the truth from their students. And Jesus had heard that he was, considered Apostle Messiah. But the problem is that in those times, the Messiah was considered to be the undefeatable victor in battle. And so when people ask Jesus, who do you say that I am? Jesus clarifies his true identity as the suffering servant, of whom Isaiah prophesied. And the gospel today is like a two-sided coin. On the one side, we have the identity question, and on the other, we have what needs to be done, or can be done, so that the coin can be complete. Follow me is what Jesus says. This is what completes the coin, the other side of the coin, the acting out of love. And so faith is not an intellectual assent to a truth. It's a relationship of self-giving, self-sacrificing. For example, if we see someone in the water because of the floods in New Orleans for Hurricane Francine, and we say to them, hey, good luck, take care, I hope you can recover, hope someone can pick you up. That's not faith, that's not love in action. What happens is we want your presence in our lifeboat. We want to pick you up and save you. Reach out and say, hey, I want you safe. Well, we need to know that faith is not something that, we put into our created. It's something that we profess with words, but don't put into action. It's not idea of a card-carrying Catholic. And if it is, St. James says it's totally lifeless. So to carry through on the analogy of the coin, besides on the other side of the each coin, in between is what? Total trust. Trust that as we give our lives away in loving service to the lonely, the forgotten, the unwanted, the vulnerable, we ourselves are at the same time are being caught up into this lifeboat. And to the extent that we as Peter want to reject this kind of invitation to be a suffering servant, to give our life away, well, do we really know who we are? Do we dare to try to call ourselves a Christian? Are we aware that we're lovingly connected to God just because God has chosen to love us unconditionally? We can't earn it, deserve it, achieve it, merit it. It's pure gift. Can we tolerate that much? So the final question is, if it's true that what they said of the early Christians is they'll know they're Christians by their love, will we be recognized as Christians?